Now, keep it going for all the parents. Parents, make some noise. Just the 10 women over there? Just, all right, they fucking. Okay. No, I'm a parent. I have 2 kids. I have a 14-year-old and a 15-year-old and a 19-year-old. And when I was pregnant with my youngest son, I was actually living in Little Rock, Arkansas. And me and his dad got into the biggest fight that we had ever been in over his name, right? Because I wanted to name our son Kelly after my favorite uncle. Now, why was this grown-ass man named Kelly? I don't fucking know, okay? I just know that my Uncle Kelly was the only safe space that I knew growing up. So I wanted my son to embody that. Now, my ex wanted to name our son some shit that he had picked out with some bitch from high school. Because men are stupid, okay? So we take this issue to his mom to be the deciding factor, right? And we present the options to her, and immediately she gets upset at me and goes, Kelly, why would you name my grandson Kelly? That's a girl's name. Which is a valid critique coming from anybody except for a bitch named Lamar. Right? So, because of that, we decided to name our son after his father, who's named after his father. So he is Mark Wayne Anderson III, and we call him Trey for short, right? And Trey is 15, and he is now a sophomore in high school, and he has just developed into the most phenomenal lying little shit I've ever met in my life, y'all. The last 3 months of his freshman year of high school, he was telling me that he was going to play football every day for the team, when really, he was just going down to the hood to smoke weed and try and get his little wee-wee wet. Yeah. And I found out through a text message that he was sending to all these girls. And I say text message because it was one, and it was 7 girls. And the message read, hey girl, you know you want to come and let me butter your pancake. So not only is he a liar, this little motherfucker lame as hell too, right? Like, who the fuck raised you? Like, where your riz at? Oh, God. And now, every time I see him, I just get upset thinking about all the times he lied to me, and I just grab him and I say, you know, it's never too late for me to have an abortion with your ass. God. Now, my oldest son is a perfect little angel baby, okay? He has never done anything wrong, and he is the bravest person that I have ever met in my entire life, right? And that's because when he was born, he was actually born assigned female at birth. So we played them gender games with him till he was like 11 or 12 when he came to me and he told me that he didn't want to be alive in his body anymore. And I didn't know how to process that. So immediately I went and I got him into therapy. And in 3 years, he is doing better. He is like actually excelling in school now. He's happy, but most importantly, he wants to be alive. You know? Thank you. So imagine my surprise, though, when his therapist calls me in for a parent meeting, because we hadn't had to have one of these since intake. So to properly prepare, I take an edible. And now I am in this meeting high as fuck and confused as shit when they tell me that my baby is non-binary. Because I felt like if his ass didn't want to be a computer programmer, y'all could have told me that shit over the phone, okay? But his therapist, Catherine, lets me know that non-binary means that he doesn't lend to either end of the gendered spectrum. So I'm like, okay, well, what do I need to do? And she says nothing. Morgan just wants to cut their hair and use they, them pronouns. And we do that shit for another 3 years until I get another phone call from Catherine. This time, I take the edible before I even pick up the fucking phone, okay? And now Catherine is telling me that Morgan is now trans-masculine identifying. And I knew what those words meant, and I'm like, okay, well, what do I need to do? And she says, you need to go and get Morgan some gender-affirming equipment. So I hop my happy ass in the car and go straight to Lowe's to buy this motherfucker a tool belt and a drill. Because how else are you supposed to affirm the male gender? Go on and build some shit, Bob. You know? But Catherine lets me know that that was a good try, but I did kind of miss the mark just a little bit, right? So she sends me an email with some links in it to help us out. So we go home, sit down on the bed, pop open the laptop, click the first link. First link is for something called a binder. If you don't know what that is just a garment that holds your titties down if they're getting in the way. Now, the secret that Victoria keeps for me. When I take my bra off, my titties look like half-empty IV bags. So we got 2 binders, because a family that binds together, grinds together, okay? Goddamn. Now, that second link was for something called a packer. And what I didn't know is that a packer ain't shit but a dick. So imagine my horror as I am sitting on the bed with my teenager in the state of Tennessee, looking at dicks. Y'all, I know that there's laws against this shit and I'm going to jail because I'm not a fucking US senator, right? So as I am preparing for Chris Hansen and the Law and Order SVU team to kick in my front door, I look down at my son and he is smiling the biggest smile that I had ever seen from him. And I knew that in that moment, I had to get him whatever the fuck packer he wanted, because in my experience, a dick was never gonna make him that happy again, you know? And now, people ask me all the time, like, Brandi, isn't it weird that you have a transgendered son? And to me, that is the easiest question I have ever had to answer. I would much rather have a transgendered son than a dead daughter. Okay? Now, what makes this little motherfucker weird is that he's a furry. And if you don't know what a furry is a person who likes to dress up like an animal from time to time, right? So now he got his packer, but he also walking around the house with a tail. He got ears, hooves and shit, scaring the fuck out of our dogs every day, right? So now, when we go to Dollywood, I gotta pull his ass aside like, hey, bro, before we get on the Wild Eagle, do you need me to hold your tail or your dick in my fanny pack? Y'all, my name is Brandi Augustus. That's been my time.
Brandi Augustus, everybody. Let's keep that energy going for our next comment coming to us from France. Give it up for Zach Mama.
Thank you guys, that died so quickly. They give me a little microphone.